All right, so the Houndstooth has been out for a little while now, and a lot of people are starting to struggle, including people on my own leaderboard. And I had some individuals on my leaderboard that are beating me, and they're mostly free to play. These guys have focused on ships since the beginning. They have, 30, 40,000 GP less than me, yet they're able to bump me. So I wanted to make a video about how to beat Houndstooth teams with certain teams compositions, kind of the free to play way. Well, hello there. I'm glad she joined. I actually now know what's on the nose of the ship. That's pretty awesome. Total distraction. All right. Now, does your battle with the Houndstooth go something like this? All right, if those are your end results when you go against the Houndstooth, I have a video and a composition that was sent in by Mazr, M-A-Z-R, from my leaderboard chat. Like I said, mostly free to play in ships, and he's got about 30,000 less GP, 31,000 less GP than me. And I'm going to showcase his team really quick. I'm going to go through the team and why it works. So I built his team with my team. So you're going to see my total fleet power is far higher than his is because I have way more development on my team. But I just want to go through the team he selected, and then we'll go through his battle and kind of talk about it. Okay, behind me is the exact team that he uses. Now, this is my team behind you. You can see it's 410,000 GP or fleet power, FP actually. And he's using kind of the old meta, Thrawn, Biggs, the Imperial TIE Fighter, and TIE Advance. Now, Biggs is there because there's a lot of target lock. He's going to give a little bit of durability and kind of a distraction. He's going to probably die almost guaranteed every time, but he's there for the distraction. The Imperial TIE Fighter is going to be there to be dodgy and kind of provide turn meter, but also to provide target lock and buff immunity, the much needed buff immunity to go against Houndstooth. Also, TIE Advanced can dispel. Dispel is another way of working around Houndstooth, being able to dispel all that protection up and then whammy, hit him with like a 80 to 101, thousand hit that is going to kill him. So it's more about strategy, kind of like Nest. You got to figure out how to beat Houndstooth. And so that's why TIE Advanced is there. Now in his back lineup, he's using Sunfac, who can come in and stun one person, and then he can target another person and stun another tank because Biggs is going to die pretty quick. He is using Cassian. Of all these ships, I'd say that's probably the one that's kind of not free-to-play friendly, but you probably should have already developed this for the Chimera because you need 5 Rebel ships. So if you don't have the Chimera, it's because you probably haven't developed your Rebels, and you should. So this is kind of a must-have ship down the road. And with Cassian's ship comes a couple of dispels, both on his entry, and he has an ability which can, target lock as well as dispel. And then of course he's using Poe in the background, which is going to give him the ability to one-shot somebody. So if he dispels the Houndstooth, he'll then be able to follow it up with a really powerful hit and just eliminate him. And then of course Phantom 2, same thing. Phantom 2 is going to accelerate being able to flood the field, which you desperately need to do. And the Phantom 2 is also there for some heavy hitting. Now, with that said, he's got this exact lineup, and this is how he has it on the video. You'll see his galactic or his fleet power is like in the 370s. And so he doesn't have nearly the development that I have on my team. And he has Phantom 2 in the kind of the back lineup, but he knows it doesn't really matter a whole lot which way you place it because it's a matter of how you play it. So what I want to do is I want to go through his battle now. I want to showcase kind of what he's doing and just talk through kind of probably his mental philosophy when he's trying to take out my team. Let's check it out. All right, here we go. He's going to go ahead and immediately start going after Houndstooth. He's got to get target lock on there. He's going to go ahead and do a couple attacks. You can see the protection does go down even though he regenerates protection. And he's going to debuff my team, which should slow me down offensively. Not so much though, right? And luckily he can do that. There's buff immunity, and he follows it up with a nice big hit. And that buff immunity is definitely key. He's got to hurry up and take this ship out before he gets this back. So this is where stun comes into play. You get buff immunity on, and then you can stun. Now, he chose to bring in Phantom 2 to finish it off, which was a great idea because he can bring in another ship immediately after Phantom 2. But only do that if you know your Phantom 2 can finish him and finish the job. Now he's got to go against the 3 Geos. So this is where he's going to bring in and stun the first Geo, which is great. And now he can go ahead and work on the other tank with his attackers. Now, we did lose, like I said, Biggs, but now we have Sun Fact taunting. So there we go. Now, I would personally put a bunch of target lock up. He chose to use basic, but he can stun him again right there, and he's just going to keep working at him. But just remember, there is more than one way strategy-wise to attack these guys. Now, he's going to buff his team again, debuff the opposing team. He put offense down. What a great strategy. And there is Darth Vader. Yuck. Again, I would target lock again. He chose not to use target lock. That's okay. But definitely the more target lock you have, the better. He uses his special here, which I would have used a basic and saved the special for another ship. He does have Chimera's ultimate, but he doesn't need it. In fact, he could have used Admiral Akbar's ship and been able to win regardless because he didn't need the ultimate for Houndstooth. He was able to take the Houndstooth out on his own. We're going to finish this soldier off, which is great. And now it's 2-1, which is a pretty good odd, although he is dodgy as well. And we're just going to finish it off with Poe smashing him for 101, which is what I'd said earlier. Very nice battle. All right, so there you go. Again, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't perfect, but he did it nonetheless with a bunch of free-to-play characters. He's got far less GP, and he was still able to dethrone me. Yes, it's a struggle, and yes, he doesn't have all of the tools that I have in my tool belt when it comes to ships, but this is just one more alternative. Now, keep in mind, I had another video on the Houndstooth where I showcased beating the Houndstooth with buff immunity and dispel. So if you haven't seen my Houndstooth video featuring Mobile Gamer, please go back and watch it because there's a lot of good battles, like 4 or 5 really good battles in there, specifically a couple that I use to actually beat with free-to-play teams the Houndstooth. So go check it out. As always, if you have any thoughts about the Houndstooth and ways you're beating the Houndstooth, leave them in the comments down below and keep your gaming on. Warrior out.